Right, we're live. So sorry about that, everyone. Couple of technical glitches on my end, I think, really. Had to kind of restart the computer and start it all up again. So I do apologise about that, everyone. So you will all know the reselling royalty we've got in today. That is Car Boot Chris. Thanks so much for joining.
Hello, you all right?
We'll just do a couple of little hellos first, if that's all right. So we've got Uncle Albert in during the war. We didn't have Wednesday night lives, only Saturday night lives. Yeah, that's probably very true.
What about Monday Night Lives?
I think there was probably more knives during the war than lives, to be fair. But yeah. Tori, evening all. That's also you in there. That was me. Tam and Bell have to disagree about the best guess yet, Chris. We've also got Sharon in. We've got Mrs. Love. Hello, thanks so much for joining. Yeah, you're right, Uncle Albert. She is the duck race champion. Mrs. Love, lots of people wishing you well on your duck race. Congratulations. We've also got Oliver Ian, evening all. Thanks so much for joining. We've also got Tonks Boutique. Thank you so much. Just coming down to the bottom now. We've also got Chris Tyler in. Thanks so much for joining. And I think that's your lovely lady wife, isn't it?
Yes. Well, yeah. Wife.
Thanks, Belle. Thanks for joining. Betty Bob, hello. Thanks for joining. We've also got Lee. Thanks so much. Kevin Hawthorne, thanks so much from Lakeland, Florida. Thanks so much for joining. And yeah, we're pretty much at the bottom there, the hellos. So, Chris, just easy first question to start with. Just tell us kind of about you, really. So, tell us about yourself and what got you into reselling.
Well, I've always kind of been like buying and selling. So I actually had a shop way back. I had a high street shop in the early 2000s for a couple of years. So I was very young then. I mean, not that I'm not now, but it was, a good 20 odd years ago. So very early 20s at a high street shop. And that dealt with the trading, the buying and selling of games, videos, DVDs and stuff like that, consoles. And then once I'd done in that, I worked for cash generators. So I was a buyer for cash generators. So I was learning about what things were worth, buying it off people, selling it back to people. And then after that, I kind of just did some other stuff. And then we started, me and Belle started making up like movie gift packs, like with films and figures and toys, like all in a bundle.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, when was that? About 2014, something like that, 2015. And it kind of started with that. And we then moved on from there and started just selling items individually on eBay. We tested out a bit of a Shopify. We tried selling them on Shopify, making a website. Didn't really work. So we then stopped doing the bundles and we just sold things individually on eBay. And then it just grew from there, really. So I started off part-time for a few years and then grew into full-time, ended up leaving my main job and stuff.
Yeah. And your main job was the police, is that right?
Yeah. Well, 13 years I was a cop, from 2003 to 2016. Actually, towards the end of being in the police, I was also part-time reselling.
Yeah.
So from about 2015, I was officially a business on eBay. So yeah, part-time.
What kind of made your decision to leave the police?
Well, I didn't go straight from the police to full-time reselling. Though I worked for a charity for about two to 3 years. So I was an events organizer at a charity. And I still didn't really have an ambition to be a full-time reseller, because it kind of suited me to be part-time, because you got the security, a nice wage coming in, and everything that I earned reselling part-time was for like holidays, pocket money, just supplements your income a bit. It was quite nice, really. And for many people, I think that's probably the best thing to do, really, is to have reselling as an extra income, because it is pretty hard work. And if you really want to make like really good money, like if you want to break through the VAT barrier and all that business as a reseller, you're gonna have to work a hell of a lot of hours.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
have to work really hard.
Yeah, you literally will have to work like every minute under the sun, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So have you always been into like films as well?
Yeah, I've always been a film fan. Our eBay store is sort of, it started off based around movie stuff, so
Yeah,
it's always good to, if you're going to do eBay or reselling, it's good to do something that you know about, that you enjoy doing, you've got an interest in, because it makes it easier.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I love films and stuff, and you know, I get involved with the Movie Chats boys a lot as well. Good friends, and they've got a good channel to go and watch on a Thursday night. Plug there, guys.
I've seen actually on, I was kind of looking back through your YouTube a little bit. So obviously you've done really well on your YouTube as well. You've got nearly like 10,000 subscribers, but your channel didn't kind of start as reselling, did it? You
No,
started kind
no,
of
it's
travel and things.
yeah. I mean, I've had the channel now for about 8 years, so probably about 2014, 15, and it started off life. I was just uploading like travel stuff, like going to events, doing just random videos.
Yeah,
And then it moved on to when we got Cookie. We did a lot of Cookie videos, and they got a lot of interest. And then we still upload Cookie videos, but generally it's mixed. And then I used it for reselling, and
yeah,
it stayed kind of a mixed channel, really. I mean, I've often contemplated either making it solely reselling or starting a new channel, and I just thought, you know what, it's not worth it. I mean,
yeah,
it's my channel at the end of the day. Basically, it's got all parts of our lives in it, a bit like Richard, and he puts a
yeah,
bits and bobs on his channel. I mean, the only downside to it is it's very, very hard to grow, and it's taken us 8 years to get to 10,000.
yeah,
It takes a long time. I mean, you see people come into YouTube reselling. You know, you got your likes of Brum Reseller.
yeah,
Even George Ross went up very quickly. And a few other people, Chaddy Pete. I mean, he's gone faster than anybody.
yeah,
Probably because their content's better than most people's, but also they're focused on a specific thing. And the channels are much easier to grow if you can focus on something.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think Rich has touched on that before in like previous conversations with him. He said like, my channel could be a lot bigger, but it's my channel and I like putting different
Yeah.
things in it, which is, it's your choice, isn't it, really?
I think it'd be good. I think it'll be nice. I use it a lot to look back on memories.
Yeah.
And I upload a lot of stuff, and I think it'll be nice in years to come, as you know, that you can
Yeah,
look back on it all.
definitely. And talking about looking back, I did spot the video where you proposed to Belle, which was a lovely video.
On the ice rink in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I came across that one. So I was like, oh, that's a lovely video. What were
Yeah.
you thinking at the time? Were you like
I
scared?
don't know what I was thinking. Crazy. I had this bloody camera strapped to my head, and I was waiting for the right opportunity. And then I noticed that they were starting to clear the ice. So I
Oh, right.
thought, if I don't do this now, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss the chance, because they were starting to like say, right, that's it, session over, get off. So yeah, I planned to do it for about 8 months. You know, I planned to do it like that, but kind of I didn't expect to be rushed towards the end there.
Was that in New York? Was it?
Yeah. At the Rockefeller ice rink.
Yeah.
The one. Is it on where the Rockefeller tree is in Home Alone? That's where it is.
Yeah. It's a lovely little video. That. What are you drinking there, Chris?
Oh, it's root beer.
Oh, is it? I thought you had like a bottle of beer. I was like, oh yeah.
Well, technically it is
I
beer, but it's fruit
might go
beer.
get a beer myself. Join you.
You can if you want. We're both on beer.
Yeah, I may well do in a moment. um, so when I was also looking back your channel, one thing that kind of really made me laugh as well, and quite a weird situation. You had a video about Fred and Rose West. Do you remember that sale?
Yeah.
And obviously, Fred and Rose West are obviously very known in my area because I'm from Gloucestershire, from
Oh yeah.
Cheltenham, so very very near Fred and Rose West. And so that was partly why I clicked on it as well. So I was like, whoa. But yeah, that was really odd. So I
Strange.
don't know whether anyone else in the chat as well have had any like really weird situations where they've had to post things off to people who are posing as people or
Yeah, it was very
whatever.
odd that. It was very odd.
Yeah, it was really weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that one kind of like stuck out to me. I think because obviously I'm kind of like in the area, and I was like, "What do you mean you're posting to Fred and Rose West?" Like I thought they were both dead, to be honest. I didn't even think they were still alive.
A bit
Um,
clickbaity, but not because it that's what they were asking me to do.
yeah.
Stupid.
You do get all sorts of people on eBay, don't you?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you get people who either just give you lowball offers, you get people who give you like loads of sob stories and things like that. Apart from obviously that situation, what do you think is one of the other kind of weirdest things that you've encountered in the world of eBay?
Oh. I don't know, to be honest, Sophie. I don't know. There's just a lot of strange oddballs, isn't there? But
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same as if you'd have a high street shop. You'd get the same oddballs coming in there.
yeah, I suppose you do, and with like people returning things and
I've
stuff
never
like
really had like
that.
I've I know a lot of people have like weird returns where they might send an empty box back. I mean, I had that one return I had recently where they sent me back a completely different item. They sent me back some French breathalyzers or something. That saga went on for weeks. That's probably the weirdest I've had. Really, I can't think of anything else that's really like weird.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had plenty.
Probably.
I've had because I know you're not a fan of impulse lockers, but I've had
Mm,
a small issue one today. So I had a vintage sale the other day, and every time I've been to a locker, there's only two lockers in Cheltenham, so you've only got two places to go, and each one is full, and I've never had that problem before.
mm.
So I'm now getting Vinted messaging me constantly saying, "Please send, please send."
Well, you've got a week, haven't you? But I believe.
Yeah, but I can't physically send it because there's only
Mm.
two lockers and I can't get in it. So that's a bit of an issue for me at the moment.
Surely they'll clear up after, they'll get emptied, won't they, every day
I
at
hope
some point?
so. Yeah, I mean, I'd have thought so. I mean, I've never had issue with lockers, before, and I think because there's only two in Cheltenham, you think they would empty them every day because it's
Yeah.
not like you've got a variety of places to go really. So I'm hoping so.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll clear up.
Um, so tell me about what else do you like to pick up then, Chris? Obviously, I know you like your movie stuff and things like that. What else is like your favourite kind of stuff to pick up?
Yeah, the movie stuff is the main one. I will pay up for movie stuff just because I like picking it up and having an interest in it. And at the end of the day, my store is movie fusion. So if I don't have anything movie in it, then I might as well just change the name or something.
Yeah,
But probably clothing comes second
yeah,
because there's the biggest profit probably in clothing, really. Other than obviously everything's got the right a decent amount of profit,
yeah,
depending on what you pay for it, etc., and how good the item is. Electronics has got a lot of profit in it.
yeah,
But I think clothing is probably the most accessible thing when it comes to increasing your average sale price. And I think clothing probably. I mean, definitely. I mean, before I started doing clothing, my average sale price was around £10. And then when I
yeah,
started doing clothing, it goes over £20 average sale
yeah,
price.
yeah,
I
yeah,
still would like to get it higher than that, but it's really difficult to get your average sale price higher than £20 when you have a mixed store.
Yeah.
because you don't want to walk past anything.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing. If you see something that's 50p and you know you get a £10 for it, it's very hard to leave that behind.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like with clothing as well, like you're saying, trying to get your average sale price above that 20, you've got to really find the right pieces, haven't you? Like, someone like, I don't know, luxury pickers or, someone like that, I'm sure their average sale price is higher than that, but they're very focused on one sort of the higher end brand of clothing, aren't they?
Yeah, and I don't do a lot of that high end stuff because I don't trust myself looking for the right signs with labels and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
there's certain brands that I know I can find and pick up, and it is about learning which ones are right and wrong.
Yeah.
But I think, like, from my point of view, I tend to look. Say, if I was going to a charity shop or like a kilo sale, something like that, the areas that I would look for straight away are sports tops,
Yeah.
tracky tops,
Yeah.
hoodies, jackets, and coats. That would be
Yeah.
my first port of call, and then
Yeah.
I'd probably have a look at t-shirts and stuff after that. I veer away from trousers and jeans because I hate dealing with them, and I tend to get a lot
Yeah.
of returns on them because of the sizing is so different.
Yeah.
So I veer away from them. Also, trainers, obviously, I've started doing more trainers than I used to, and that's
Yeah.
proving fruitful. If you can pick up the right trainers, that can get
Yeah.
your numbers up a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I have to admit, if I go to a kilo sale, which I kind of I went for a stage of going to like a few of them
Yeah,
basically.
me too.
Um, and I used to look for, like you say, kind of the sports jackets stuff, the hoodies, or say like can you remember like the Adidas joggers or like the poppers down the side,
Mhm.
kind of like more retro-y kind of stuff
Yeah,
like that.
90s
Um,
type sort of stuff.
yeah, yeah. Um, I've still got like a couple of jackets left over from like kind of the handful that I bought. Um, but I did also pick up jeans, and I find that when you're picking up jeans, when it's £20 a kilo, it's not
Oh
really
yeah,
worth your
it's not
time
worth it.
because actually that takes up most of your kilo, if not all, pretty much half your kilo. So it ends up really like £10 a pair, really.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be careful when you. It sounds great, £20 a kilo, but if you're going to be reselling it, it's not necessarily that.
No, it's not. I mean, most
Careful.
places used to be £15 a kilo, and they've gone up to
Yeah,
20. A lot of them now. There are still some at 15, but
yeah,
yeah, you got to be really careful.
yeah. And the good thing about clothes as well, they're everywhere, aren't they? And like everyone
Yeah.
needs clothes.
And I
So
think right now as well, I think like once sort of Christmas is done
mm,
and people's wallets are a bit tighter, I think
yeah,
people are going to turn to secondhand clothing a lot more than what
yeah,
they have done.
yeah. I
They
mean,
want value for money. They want to get more for the money. They don't want to
yeah,
pay. I don't think people will want to pay, £100 for a jacket. They'd rather pay 40 for a second-hand one.
yeah,
I think that is what will happen.
yeah. I certainly think that there's going to be quite a boom in like the second-hand market, but I think people to start with, they just need to real kind of get used to what they've got, realize what they've got, get used to what they've got, and get used to what they have spare now. And like with the first announcement of like all the gas prices going up and electricity,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, I noticed a little slump then, and then it kind of picked up, and then there was another announcement about, oh, it's going to go up again, by October or whatever. So I kind of noticed I'm in another little slump. So I think it will go up again. I think people, they're kind of in like getting used to things mode at the moment,
Yeah.
kind of trying to work out what they've got and things. And
Yeah, because
yeah,
we're only just kind of over, what, about 6 weeks into these energy prices and stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you don't really know how much you can afford. People are like, "Can we put the heating on yet?" And you
yeah.
don't know how much you're going to have left at the end of the month, do you?
No, exactly, 100%. So I I do think there will be like a boom in it, but it's it's not just yet.
I mean,
But
I'm a good example. Like Jilly B said there, most of my own clothes are second hand. It saves money in the environment. A
yeah,
few years ago, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would not have bought clothes in a charity shop for myself.
no,
Even like 4 or 5 years ago, even when I was reselling at the start, I didn't do clothing. I would
yeah,
not have bought my own clothes. But now, there's very little in my wardrobe, like Jilly B, that is brand new.
yeah, yeah. I have to admit, like, because I never even thought until I started reselling, I would have never thought of going into a charity shop anyway. But now I kind of go into them more, obviously through reselling. Like, there's some things, and I'll be like, oh, actually, I'd quite like to keep that for myself.
Hmm. Well, this
I
hat,
would
the
never have
hat,
done.
the hat I'm wearing is second hand. The hoodie I'm wearing is second hand. What else? I won't tell you what else is second hand. The jeans are new. The jeans are from Primark, but
Yeah,
half my outfit is second hand.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, it's definitely the way forward. I'm just gonna a little scroll back through the chat here,
Yeah,
Chris.
go for it.
Just see who else has said hello since sure, I don't know how you do this on a Monday night, to be honest,
Well,
Chris.
there is two of us, but it is hard. It is hard.
Yeah,
You just get into a flow with it. You just have to keep looking at what people are saying all the time.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
People like to be involved, so can't
Yeah,
get
and
them involved.
that's what I like about live streams because you feel like you can engage and interact with everyone as well. It's kind of it involves everyone.
Yeah.
Welsh Picker, hi Sharon, SJ Cartier Limited, hello everyone. We've also got Night's Life. Where else are we? We've also got Jilly B. Uncle Albert says around 1,200 subs a year, slow and steady growth. I think that's a good thing because I always kind of feel like a little bit suspicious about people who go straight up because I think, well, how organic is actually their following? Like, how much of that is people?
Yeah.
Richard's channel is awesome, great guy and great content. Yes, it is. Please subscribe to Night's Life. Chris was thinking he was getting lucky that night, but his balls were freezing, so he had to be quick.
Thanks for that, Steve.
Oh, I thought he was on a big boy drink too. I know I might have to go get myself a big girl drink now. I feel like I need to like share a beer or something.
It's weird for me actually being on the other end of these lives because a minute ago when Jilly B said that, I tried clicking on her name to put it up.
Oh, did
And obviously
you?
I'm not in charge, so I couldn't put it up.
I didn't know that you couldn't click actually. I thought you could because you can see it, so I just assumed you could click as well.
If I was a collaborator on your StreamYard account where you can add team members.
Yeah.
So if you're like the two Steves when they do movie chats because they collaborate on their StreamYard, they can both click on.
Oh, okay. Uncle Albert reckons you got rum in the bottle.
Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Rum and root beer.
Rum and root beer. I'm not sure how that will go down.
No, to be honest, I don't think it'd work. Is there an alcoholic root beer out there? Does anybody know?
I bet there is. I expect there is.
I love root beer.
Uncle Albert, I'm here in the chat. Please no more talk of us odd balls. Movie chat. Sorry I'm late. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining. Jilly B, I sold a laptop. They opened the case, say it was broken and had been opened. Lucky I did photos of serial numbers and so on. He was showing a different laptop.
Oh, schoolboy error.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank God you did photos.
Yeah. Always a good tip that. Make sure you get those serial numbers in your photos.
Fancy thinking you can get away with just showing, a different laptop. If you don't know what you've sent. Interesting that every might be joining more post offices. Yeah.
They've done a deal with the post office whereby they're gonna start dropping it. I think they're doing 50 post offices just to test it out.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. I posted it in the Monumental chat earlier today, and I just think I think it's very clever from Every, because obviously it's great for them. It's a win-win for them.
Yeah.
And also being linked to the post office gives them a little bit more credibility.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, like you say, credibility. Yeah.
It gives a
And
bit more
I can't.
confidence for the customer.
Yeah, yeah, that's the words I was thinking of.
Even though their parcel is still going to get dealt with by the same drivers, the same
Yeah,
people, the
same
same everything,
people. Yeah,
it will feel different to people going to the post
yeah,
office. But it sparks a bit of desperation from the post office, I think.
yeah,
It's almost
yeah.
like,
I
well,
think
yeah,
so.
we're in that much trouble at the minute. We've got to team up with Every, who are considered like the worst delivery company.
Yeah,
I use Every actually all the time, but they are considered like the worst of the worst. So it must be bad for the post office if they're having to do that.
yeah, and I was quite surprised. They chose Every as well. Like, I think of all the companies you could have chose, but
Well, obviously it's a deal that's mutually beneficial. So
yeah,
post office
yeah,
are going to earn from it, aren't they? And Every are going to do well out of it.
yeah, 100%.
I think maybe part of it is a lot of I've heard a lot of the shops, the Every drop-off shops, they moan a lot. They moan a lot about the volume of parcels that come in. And I don't think a
Yeah,
lot of the little corner shops and stuff that do it, they're not really equipped to take on all these parcels that are being dropped off. So I think obviously the more shops they have, the more post offices obviously have got areas set aside for parcels, and
yeah,
it's equipped for it. So it kind of makes perfect sense, really.
yeah. I mean, I dropped off my Every stuff to my local co-op the other day, and behind the till, honestly, it was that high, like
Mm,
behind her with parcels. I had to leave it on the other side of the counter in the end because couldn't even get it, over.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I mean, a lot of people complain about Every, and yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
have my own share of issues with them. But the thing that I always think about Every is that I know where I stand with them,
yeah,
and I like their processes. I like how easy it is on their website. I just go direct to their website, and if you use complete cashback, you can get 10% on your 10% back on your purchase on the website as well. But I know where I stand, because I know that if it gets lost, eventually I'll get my compensation.
yeah,
Whereas I know that it's a pain in the ass with Royal Mail and Post Office, because most of the time they'll only pay you for the wholesale cost of the item. And
yeah,
how you prove what your wholesale cost is, I don't know. So, like,
yeah,
you bought them at a boot sale for £1 and you sell it for 20. If that item gets lost by the post office, they'll only give you the pound.
yeah.
So
That's
how do you
how.
even show that it cost £1?
Yeah,
What you can do, take a photograph of your written ledger that you've been doing for car boot sales. I don't know where I stand with the post office.
no, no. I'm just scrolling down a little bit. SJ Carter's had a question, but the chat seems to have answered it. So thanks so much for that, guys. Jilly B's new profile picture. I do like your rainbow, Jilly B. It's lovely. What's Tonk say? Anyone good with band music t-shirts? Picked one up today, but can't find anything online about it.
I always like to pick up band gig t-shirts.
Yeah.
I always do. They always do pretty well normally.
Yeah.
But obviously, you'd have to give us more information than that.
Yeah, you do need to like research it a little bit, like kind of what era it was, whether it was like a significant tour date, whether it really is a vintage t-shirt from that tour as well, because you can get a lot of duplicates and things. If it's single stitch, double stitch, like there's lots of things like you do need to like look into. I mean, there's so many replicas of things out there. But funny enough, Skunk and Nancy t-shirts go quite well, I think.
I would think they're very rare.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah, because it's a very niche sort of band from the 90s.
Yeah, and I think they do go quite well from what I've heard.
I would pick up anything like metal, heavy metal, all that kind of stuff, because it appeals to like not only the band but bikers and goth and that kind of area as well. So you get the multiple people that like it.
Yeah, definitely. Rich says, I always wear second hand and only get new if the wife buys it. So that's birthday and Christmas, I suppose, then. Chris rocking the Primani jeans. Tam and Bell, second hand all the way. I've been second hand before we even started reselling. Geordie reseller just had a Depop sale for £20 and an eBay one for £20. Both trainers, nice. Well done. We've also got Damien in. Thanks for joining. Oliver Ian says, I find far too many decent pieces of clothing that I want to keep for myself. Yeah.
I know a lot of it ends up coming to me to sell.
Uncle Albert, you guys are a bit posh for your second-hand clothes. Mine are mostly third-hand. I don't even want to know where that's come from, to be fair. And Space Invader, wish I had a second-hand that worked. Only got one that works. That tickled me a little bit. Well done. Rum also goes with anything, including rum. I wonder if well, Uncle Albert should know that, really, shouldn't he? But I wonder whether like dark rum would go with your root beer, Chris.
That might be better than like.
I think dark rum
or whatever.
Probably go with it.
I used to drink a lot of Bacardi. I was a Bacardi drinker. I couldn't touch it now.
Oh yeah, no, I like coconut rum, and I like spice rum, but that's it. I can't do dark rum. Honestly, it makes me want to gag. I think it's just vile.
Probably all right in a cocktail.
Yeah. SJ Cartier, if you see any product in my eBay shop, you see it connected to my website and on a percent on top. Yeah, so you have a website as well, don't you, SJ? How do you manage your website? Do you get much traffic to it? Do you have to spend a lot getting the traffic there? Tell us a little bit about your website. Did I find out about how the spanners work? I didn't get time, I'm afraid, Sharon. I will sort out spanners for people. But I just ran out of time, unfortunately. As eBay fees, whereas website is only WooCommerce fees or PayPal. Southern Comfort and root beer is nice. There you go. That's one to
try. I wouldn't have that. No way would I touch Southern Comfort. That's disgusting. I tell you what is nice. If you ever get hold of it, honey rum. It is.
Honey rum.
Oh, I can drink it straight. It is lovely. Honey rum. You get it a lot in the Canary Islands. I think they make it over there. But
oh, really?
Honey rum is that is really nice.
You can read out that one, Chris, because I'm going to get a big girl drink now with all this chat.
Everyone, if you're not subbed to Cooking the Haydens, head over. I think everybody is.
Ruled in my favour. Missing parcel. Very happy. Now just await the negative feedback. Well, hopefully not, or at least you should be able to sort it out, though. Cheers, Chris, with your root beer.
Yeah, cheers.
There you go.
Oh, Damien says alcoholic root beer is a thing. Look for hard root beer.
Oh, nice. Diddy B likes a little dark rum and coke. Uncle Albert, Mountain Dew, rum and coke. I think we're all a load of alcoholics in here, really, aren't we?
I don't drink a lot now. I don't drink hardly anything these days. I do like a good cocktail, though.
Yeah, I do like cocktails. Apart from when you start throwing up in the night, that's not when I like them.
Well, when I went to Vegas and we met up with Jason T. Smith and he took us to his tiki bar, I had two tiki drinks, 2 cocktails, and I was absolutely out of it. Literally, these drinks, you go up to the bar, you order this drink in this little dive of a place, Frankie's Tiki Bar, and it's got 4 alcoholic drinks in this one cocktail, and they literally just poured and just didn't stop. It was like, oh my god, how much are they putting in there? So yeah, I had 2 drinks and I was throwing up all night.
Oh, it's vile, isn't it? When you like
Yeah.
that, it's absolutely vile.
Next day, I had to get some of that. In the States, they have this stuff. I don't know if you get it in the UK, called Pepto Bismol.
Oh yeah, that's just Gaviscon basically.
Yeah, the pink stuff.
Yeah.
It's pink, but it's Pepto. And bloody hell, I tell you what, that stopped me being poorly the next day. It was brilliant.
Come on, Chris, entertain us, Oliver Ian. Give him a few more root beers, and he might. You're making me want to drink. Haven't drank for 5-6 years. Sorry about that, Tonks.
Sorry, James.
Oh, and just subbed Cookie. Budweiser, king of beers. You're absolutely right. And SJ Cartier, I currently use Google SEO to get my products in front of customers. My percentage ratio conversions has grown as I add more products. I have paid for Facebook ads and Google ads, which help. Nice. Do you find you spend out quite a lot on ads, SJ? Do you find you spend more on, obviously getting traffic to your site than you would if you just did eBay? Jilly B, I drank too much on holiday, so not drinking till Christmas. Cocktails are lethal, quite. And no, I'm Clara, but you're not an alcoholic. SJ, my shop is a WooCommerce shop, and I can promote directly via there to Google ads and Facebook ads. Nice. And we've got Richard's mum in as well, so that's good.
Talking about adverts, I saw on one of your recent videos that you were saying about how like maybe a bit reluctant to use like eBay promoted listings and trying not to give eBay too much of a percentage.
Yeah.
But what if I asked you a question?
Yeah.
And I said to you, what would you prefer? In a week, would you prefer to sell £1,000 worth of items and pay 20% to eBay?
Yeah.
Or would you prefer to sell £500 worth of items and pay 10%?
Definitely £1,000, to be fair.
There you go. You've answered your own thing then.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That is, certainly what I prefer.
Yeah, me too. That's why I will go up to 10% on eBay promoted.
Do you? You
Yeah.
see, I had some going up to like 10%. I even had some going up to like 11%, I think. But I knocked a lot of them down to like 5% because for my logic at the time, obviously, was, well, I don't want to be given over more than what I have to do, essentially.
It's hard to get over that mindset, and I was exactly the same. And then I had a conversation with a couple of different resellers, and they said to me, like, they gave an analogy a bit like that, but also said, well, you're quite happy to send, are you happy to send offers out for like 10, 20% off? Well, yeah. If you're happy to do that, are you happy to send coupon codes with 10, 15, 20% off? Yeah.
Yeah.
So why aren't you happy to do 10% promoted in order to sell an item?
Yeah, that
pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's just like a mindset change. And if it means you get more sales and you can turn over your stock quicker and you can use that money then to buy your next lot of stuff, then I think it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And when you put it like that, you can see it in like a totally different way, actually. Like, what you said is really true, because I've got 10% off on my store like pretty much all the time.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't set it at 10%. I'll do it at 10% capped.
Yeah.
But then use the trending rate. So whatever eBay thinks is the accurate rate for that item, I'll let eBay decide.
Like 7.6 or whatever.
Yeah. When you look at your stats, my average promoted rate is about 5.5%. So I'm not actually paying 10% on everything.
Yeah.
Some things are 3% and some things are 9% and some things are 5%.
Yeah.
But I do think it is worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe I'll stop, because every time I've done sell similar, what I've done is I've tinkered with that ad rate expenditure and knocked it down to like 5 if it's over 5%. And there's a couple of things I've left. If I've had it for a long time, I've left it. So if it thinks, 8.9% or whatever, I've just left it there.
Yeah.
But most things I've been putting down to 5. So I think maybe when I do next lot of like sales similar, perhaps I'll just knock it all back to where it, should be, maybe.
Well, I did a lot of testing, and we've all messed about with our accounts to see what
Yeah.
works and what doesn't. And I basically just have one promoted thing now just left that runs continuous, but you can go in and edit it, so you can edit
Yeah.
the percentage. So now and again I'll have it at 10%, and then a week later I might drop it to 8% capped, but
Yeah.
it will still run continuous, so I can
Yeah.
still see how many sales I've made using promoted on a constant basis.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good way to put it. Where are we? So SJ says, I do find eBay is a bigger reach, but my ads on my website bring customers directly to my website. No competition over prices, which worldwide what's better is GSP can be expensive. I find GSP just more expensive for the buyer, not necessarily me. But yeah, I mean, it's great you've got your own website and you've worked out a way to get traffic to it, because that's the hardest part, really,
Yeah.
is getting people to actually see your website. Tonks put mine back from 2% to 10% to see how it goes, and done a markdown to see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing too much sourcing at the moment. Mainly, well, half of it's because I'm just busy with work. And I can't, like, tomorrow I'm on, 8 till 8, so I can't really make the charity shops anyway. Like, I've got a lot of shifts like that coming up at the moment. So I'm doing a lot more like sell similars and stuff rather than actually sourcing. So
Yeah.
my rate is going to be going like all over the place this month.
Thing is, at weekends, I tend to end old listings at weekends so that I can
Yeah.
not list at a weekend. I try not to like do any listings at a weekend.
Yeah.
Just because,
Time for yourself.
yeah, time for us. And same with evenings as well. I don't really list in an evening if I can help it.
Yeah.
I do this job for a work-life balance. I don't do it to work my ass off 20 hours a day. That's not what I want to do. Some people work really hard and they're going to earn more money than me. That's the end of it. But I don't do it for that reason.
No.
I'm not going to name any names, but there's plenty of resellers out there who will do like 12, 15-hour days, and that's great. And they're clearly earning more than me, and that's not what I'm in it for. I'm quite happy earning a nice standard, reasonable wage.
Yeah, you've got to do what makes you happy and what works for you. That's the most important thing. Like I've said on like previous lives as well, I think sometimes people get really sucked into what like other people are doing.
Yeah.
And there seems to be like this trend at the moment that everyone is like posting their 90-day totals and things like that.
It drives
it doesn't really like mean anything. Do you know what I mean? Like a 90-day total, it doesn't really mean anything.
It means nothing if you don't provide all the information behind it. It means nothing.
Yeah. And I think really all it's doing is it's just inflating that person's ego. That's all. It's a vanity measure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really mean anything. You get so many people like, oh my god, I wish my store was like, I wish my store was like this. But actually, you might have had more sales than that person the last month. It just hasn't reflected in that total that they've put on or whatever. And yeah, I think it's just really important not to get too sucked into other people and their businesses and do what works for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, an example of that is some of the Amazon totals you see people sharing. It's like, here's my Amazon FBA. I've done 100 grand this year, but actually the cost of goods is probably about 70 grand because the margins are so small sometimes over on Amazon. It's much smaller margins.
Yeah,
because it's like how much does it cost for you to get there?
It's like drop shipping as well, isn't it? Like Amazon's kind of a similar sort of thing with like FBA, where you can do like Amazon drop shipping, but like you can get something cheap. By the time you get it to them, it might take a couple of weeks even to get there. Then they want a refund because it hasn't got there, quick enough or whatever. So then, you take your cost of goods, then your shipping price, and then your Facebook ads, and then your Shopify, bill, everything else. And really, even to make £1,000, you've got to be selling like £5,000 worth of stuff. So yeah, it's easy to get misled and sucked in. So
yeah, and to be honest with you, I really don't think it's anyone's business apart from yours.
No, it's not.
What you are earning, how much money you make is zero business of anybody else, and that's not being rude to anybody who follows the channel or anything. It's nobody's business because financial information is private. It's for you.
Yeah.
And nobody should be under any obligation to share that information.
Yeah. I feel like I need to like stop the trend somehow.
Yeah, me and you will stop it here.
We'll stop it right now. Uncle Albert, any numbers mean virtually nothing without context. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. When people start posting their net profit from their tax returns, that's when I start caring. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Even then, I don't care because it's still personal for people.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's right. That's the true number. That's the true number. What's in your pocket at the end of the year?
Yeah. I mean, if I had $1 million, I might share it a couple of times, 3 times. But thumbs up, thank you, Sharon.
If you had $1 million, you wouldn't be doing this, or you wouldn't be like in the reselling community, probably.
No, I might still be if I made it through the reselling community and like through.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, but if I just had $1 million, then no, I would not be like here in a dingy 1-bed flat at all. Uncle Albert's numbers 3, 14, 15. Wonderful. Chris with a 90-day total video tomorrow.
Yeah, coming tomorrow. Shock horror.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do a video, Chris, just like telling everyone to just stop.
Yeah, get a life.
Yeah,
who cares? Who cares? Who generally cares? I don't give a crap what the next person is earning. I really don't. It means nothing to me.
What I don't like about it as well, I feel like it just promotes a lot of like toxicity.
It does, yeah.
Like self-doubt in people, which you just don't need. Agreed, unless you're showing off and think numbers mean anything without any understanding. True. So what's everyone's opinion on the eBay promoted listings? Does it help you or is it all a scam? I assume it's different for everyone. I have to admit, Mrs. Love, I'm not totally sure. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I don't think my store would survive without being promoted. I think it's like, I feel like I have gone through periods where I've turned it off. Yeah. And it just goes dead. So I feel like even though I have a lot of unique items and people say, oh, you don't need to promote unique items because they should just get found straight away. Yeah. I don't know. I just promote everything. I don't discriminate. Everything in my store gets promoted in the same bracket. And at the end of the day, you don't pay unless it sells. So if it sells, happy days. If it doesn't sell, you don't pay. So I think it's win-win. I don't really see how you lose. Yeah,
I think to start with, because like it was kind of more of like a newer thing, wasn't it? I think everyone was just a bit like, oh my god, that's it, eBay's taking more money taking all our money, and we already give them enough. What the hell is this about? But I think like when you kind of sit down and think about it, like logically, especially if you test it and you turn it off and your store hasn't done well and you've turned it back on and you've sold some, then it does show it works, I suppose. At the end of the day, any figure is between you and the tax man. If people want to show off, that's fine, but that's Willy waving. Movie chats, you must all be doing okay and making a living, or you won't be doing it. Well, I'm not making a living off it just yet.
Have you got plans to be full-time?
Yeah, I do.
You're a nurse, aren't you?
Yeah.
Your nurse.
Yeah. So what I've done, because I work for the NHS, but I work on the bank. So I don't know if you had something similar in the police sort of thing.
I don't think you have it in the police now.
But yeah, basically what I do is so I'm employed by the NHS. I pick and choose where I work, so I fill in the gaps. So if someone goes off sick, if they're on holiday, blah blah blah, then I just fill in the gaps. And
So
because
you're like a supply teacher.
yeah, basically. But because there's such a shortage of nurses, I mean, I could literally choose any shift I wanted, any day, any time, wherever. So I actually end up staying in places for like almost a year because in like one place because there's just such a shortage. So yeah, I've got like multiple homes around the hospital really.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because of that, because I'm not contracted, what I've done is I've saved up enough rent and bills for January, so I can take the whole of January off, and I'm just gonna take the time, a little bit of time out for myself as well, because I work in the bank, I don't get sick pay or holiday pay either.
Right.
So it is like being a self-employed nurse, essentially, really. So I'm going to take some time out for myself because I haven't had like proper time off in about 2-3 years. So yeah, and I'm just going to focus on the business really.
To be fair, that it's kind of like a perfect job for like a part-time reseller because you can dip in and out at will, and like you're not set to doing 40 hours in a week, are you? If you only want to do 20, then you can do 20 and do the rest reselling. So it's kind of, that's a great situation actually to be in, I think.
I mean, a couple of times if I wanted a week off work, I've done like 3 12-hour shifts in a row, so like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then not gone into work again until the following week on, say, like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So then I don't miss a week's pay because I've still worked. So I get paid every Friday, but it's what you worked like 2 weeks ago. So obviously, if I don't work 1 week, then I've got to wait 2 weeks to be paid again. So yeah, it is nice that I can. It's a good situation, basically.
Yeah.
It does work well.
Yeah, I think
But
it does.
I am I'm at a point in my life where I'm sort of ready for a new challenge, really. Like, I've worked for the NHS since I was like 17, and I'm 34 now. And
also, do you have any benefits with being on the bank? Like, not like with your time. Do you get anything to do with pension, anything like that?
I get pension,
Right.
just no holiday pay and sick pay.
Right.
Because it's essentially like a 0-hour contract. So yeah, I do get pension. I do get obviously access to like training and things like that I need as well, which is good.
So it's kind of worth really, like, even if you scaled it down to like 20 hours, like part time, it's worth keeping your foot in that door.
Yeah.
And not like losing it completely.
Yeah, even if I just did like a day a week, something like that, then that would be fine, really.
That's what I would do. If I was you, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because it's a profession as well, isn't it? That you don't want to lose. Because once you're out of it for a year, you could be way behind, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, like things change. Even when you've had like say annual leave for a couple of weeks, you come back and everything's like
it's the same. It's the same in the police. If you change departments, like I went from like being frontline to being in a different role. You de-skill within about 3 months. You de-skill, because things change so quick. Processes change, rules and regulations change, laws change, and you de-skill in about 3 months. It's very, very fast, and if you don't keep up with it, it can really affect your mental health as well, because you can be put in a situation where actually I'm not trained now to do this because it's been that long since I did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I've sort of experienced that a little bit because, like I said, I've been working in one place for pretty much a year, like 3 to 4 times a week. I've been covering them for about a year, and it's a lovely place to work. Don't get me wrong, but it's not very like acute. So when I go back onto the wards and things like that, I'm a bit like, oh, what am I doing again? What's going on?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I have actually taken quite a lot of this month, just working on the wards. because I was like, I need to like get things, back up for me again, just so I feel a bit more like confident. Because I don't want to feel like not confident going between areas, because that's what I have to do. Like I have to be able to work in A&E wards, outpatients, wherever.
Yeah.
So I kind of just spend time. If I think, oh, do you know what, I haven't done A&E for a while, I better try and brush up a little bit. I'll do a couple of weeks there. And the same on the wards. Then I'll go back to my hidey hole for a little bit. Then to think, yeah, I'm getting a bit de-skilled now. I'm going to go back over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's one of them things. But I'm looking forward to having January off.
No, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, because I hate January anyway. It's long, cold, everyone's skint. Like everyone just hates life in January, don't they? I know I do. Yeah. So I'll just be like, come roll me out in February. See you later.
Good position to be in, that you got the flexibility to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And if I can, I would like to go full time, but even if I only get to a point where I can only work 2 days a week, I would be happy with that. We've also got AB Allen. Thanks so much for joining, Dave. Was a re-edit for a noble reason. I don't know what that means. Maybe I've missed it. Oh, hang on. It was from another comment. Sorry, I've picked up like someone else's chat.
Something about a video that had been confusing or something.
Yeah, I picked up something totally different. Right, Chris, we've been on for nearly an hour now, so we'll just start wrapping up if that's okay. All right. So thanks so much for joining. I do really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for giving me a shout, Sophie, and inviting me on.
That's all right. And yeah, so thanks for joining, everyone. Thanks so much for all your comments, all your likes and everything. I really appreciate it. And we will catch you all in the next video. See you soon.
See you, everyone.